Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel, The Guided Intuitive. My name is Michelle, and if you're new here, welcome. If you are a subscriber, thanks for returning. Today, what we're going to cover is 3 ways that, as of why we fall in love with potential, right? We've all been there. I know you have before. I know I've been there before. But it's really getting down and drilling down to the real basics. And I'm just going to talk about 3 ways. It can be many more, but these are the top 3 ways that I have learned so far based on my experience coming through. So in terms of the 3 ways that we fall, of why we fall in love with potential, number one is because we do not value ourselves. Okay. And what does that look like? Well, a lot of times is that we might not find that find that particular person that we really want in this moment. So we tend to kind of skew their not so good qualities and hoping that miraculously those will take care of themselves, or they'll be remedied, and then we just focus on the good qualities, right? And how many times have we done that, right, where we have really just focused in on what we want it to be rather than what is. So the best thing to do in terms of trusting the situation is really developing more trust in yourself. And if there's a knot in a stomach, this is about really getting to know yourself a little bit more. It's about untying that knot in your stomach and really looking at it. I mean, really zeroing in on it and seeing what exactly that is buried down, that is covering up the fact of what is really happening. So I think one of the biggest things is just really learning to gear up and learn how to trust yourself again. And that just comes from getting to know yourself. And one of the biggest things, I know that Tony Robbins talks about this a lot, is really to know thyself. The biggest thing that is most important is that personal development aspect. So there are perhaps areas where you might not trust yourself, and so you're going with just the good things that you see, and hoping that the other things might take care of themselves. So that is one thing. So it's really about developing deeper trust into yourself. And that just goes by more practice, speaking up a little bit more. That also helps you gain a little bit of trust. Maybe stepping back from the relationship or situation to allow the other person to step up, and they're going to show you who they are. So then you can kind of trust that. The biggest thing to remember is that it's not words and it's not any of that. It is about action that other person is doing. And I can't stress that enough, that you're going to know how someone truly feels about you by the actions that they take, with you and for you. Okay. And just within the relationship, I should say. So that's one thing that you'll learn to understand, but that is very, very big. The second thing that the second reason of why we fall for the potential in a relationship is because we do not value ourselves. And that is, again, kind of reverts right back into one where I'm talking about know thyself. And that's just spending more time by yourself, understanding yourself a little bit more, and to really get to know who you are. And as a person, what are your core values, and what are some things that you're willing to compromise on, and what are things that you're just not willing to compromise on? Okay, knowing that could change at different times in your life and at different stages, and so that's why it's always good to do it fresh, because you might have a different observation or of what that actually looks like. So that's exactly what I see. So it's really about building that self-esteem, approaching any sort of anxieties, working through the fears, any sort of guilt, shame, or sadness, and really getting to know not only the beautiful qualities in yourself, but maybe the not so good as well, and bringing them together as a whole, and then focusing and leading with those qualities of which you would like to see come into your life. So if you don't value yourself, you will put up with the could have, would have, should haves, right? And could nots in a relationship. Maybe in a particular relationship, for as an example, maybe the other person is unavailable. and but yet you're putting up with that because you have such a great connection. Oh, they've got gorgeous green eyes, or they got beautiful brown eyes, and so we tend to overlook that. But if we take the physical qualities out of the situation or out of the relationship, and then we focus on kind of of what's really happening, and things that you really need. If you're not asking for what you need or getting what you need, and you stay in something that is really about, it's lowering, it's kind of lowers your value, saying that what you feel that you need is not important. It's what the other person needs is more important by you being in it. So, and putting up with maybe less availability, right? It could be something like that. So that's as an example. So note your comments below, and put in there, I am valued. I value myself. Okay. And that is really key, because the more that you put that and reinforce that, the more it hits in your vibration, and the more that you tend to believe that and start doing things that will value you as a person, doing the things that you enjoy. And that can actually just build your value. And speaking up when it's important, and not settling for what it is that you quote unquote need, or might be that deal breaker, as it relates to your core values. And it's different for all of us, right? So that's really key. And the third reason why we fall for those we fall for those with potential, and we fall in love with potential versus the person who's really in front of us, is that maybe perhaps at this time we don't have that person that we really need. Maybe that someone isn't in our life. So what we're doing is we're putting up with something else instead, and we're making the bad qualities not so bad. This person could have some sort of addiction, some sort of issues in perhaps like self-esteem, anxiety. And I'm not talking to those of you that are working through these things together in a relationship, or that other person is working on it, predominantly, and you are being like this, you're kind of, they're taking the steps to do it. You're not trying to do it for them and trying to control that part of it. It's stepping back and letting this person do that, but working in the relationship, if that's what you agreed to. But I'm talking about those where that person's not getting the assistance, not getting the help, and not taking corrective actions in perhaps that personal development, or in that addiction, or in the mental health, in order to take care of that. So that's something to keep in mind too. Okay. So a lot of the times we tend to revert back to what is familiar, maybe what has been learned, and we tend to repeat that. So it could be that if we haven't found someone in our lives, this is sane, but this is the perfect time for you to take care of you. The universe wants to step in and co-create with you, okay? But you have to let go of the reins and the control, so the universe can work with you in this. And I was talking to one of my particular clients today, and she was just a beauty. And she had, we were talking about energy. There was a conversation on energy healing, and it was about being patient, okay? And being patient, what her Reiki master was telling her, is the science of peace. And it's very, very true. And it's about really being at peace within yourself. Okay. And that's something to really look into. So, are you at peace with yourself? And that is something that only you can answer for yourself. But I think it's so incredibly important. And this is about taking that sacred space and time to get to know yourself better, and allow your vibration to move and to continuously be enriched and leveled up. And when the timing is right, you will obviously come across that person. Now, if that is in your vibration, and that is, of course, part of your manifesting what you desire and what you are looking for in your life, and you are exuding those qualities, you are feeling those feelings, and you're taking the necessary steps in terms of that process. So that's one thing to think about. So, just to recap, is that a lot of us tend to fall for the potential of someone versus the real someone that's in front of us, because we don't value, well, number one, we don't value ourselves. Two, that we lack self-esteem and self-worth, and we might put others ahead of what our own needs are, and need to work on that. And then three would be because we don't have someone else in our life, and we rather than us liking to always have control, it's about releasing the reins on that and allowing the universe to do that work, not only the work that you need to do inside you, but also they can help co-create. And it's being at peace with yourself and having patience and letting go of the steering wheel, but keeping that vision alive of what it is that you do want, in a particular relationship, let's say. So there you have it. Now, keep in mind too, for those of you that might want to talk further, maybe learn to overcome some of these obstacles in your relationship or in your situation, whatever that is. You'll want to check out a discovery session, a discovery call with us, where we're able to work with you one-on-one for a particular length of time to overcome that. And then if, of course, you are a very, very good fit, for one of our programs, you'll be invited in for that in terms of needing to perhaps work through that and what that looks like. So if you're interested, it's up here or in my description box below. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, namaste.